The Colorado Avalanche finished third, 102 points, 8 straight playoff appearance. But, boy, that third period in Game 7 against the aforementioned Stars is going to still continue to haunt this team, because this is a club that I think we expect big things of every single year. They're explosive. Maybe next to the Edmonton Oilers, have been the most entertaining team in the league over the last several seasons. But 4 seasons in a row with 100-plus points, and they've been out in the first round twice and out in the second round once since winning the Cup in 2022 down in Tampa Bay. And before we get into the personnel moves, starting to wonder if this is a club under Jared Bednar, who's starting his 10th season with the Avalanche. Is this team more sizzle than they are steak?
I don't think so. I think they've got, what happens, I think, to all of us that are watching is that we see Nathan MacKinnon, who's in the top 3 forwards in the league, in anybody's book.
Yeah.
He's got to be. Maybe you take it to 5. I'm not going to argue about it. And then we see Cale Makar, who's marvelous defenseman, a Norris Trophy winner, brilliant player. And I think we all get drawn in by that as to they've got to be good. And then you look at the other players that surround these 2 superstars, and they're good players. They are good players. But I think it's those 2 guys that really make you buy into the Avalanche and their chances to win the Cup. I know I did, for sure. So Jared Bednar's got to get this team to go a bit further than they did last year. Everybody in the league knows that success is quantified by what you do in the playoffs. And last year, I was quite surprised that Dallas was able to beat them. But of course, I was quite surprised that Rantanen ended up going from Colorado to Carolina to Dallas. And that was the difference in the series. They're a juggernaut. Let's go through their losses and adds, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Certainly can, because they can certainly roll 4 lines. But as you said, let's look at their personnel movement during the course of the summer. And probably the one move that made the most headlines was them signing Brent Burns as a UFA from Carolina, 1 year, $1 million, $3 million potential bonuses. And this is a player that has played over 900 consecutive games and just never seems to stop. So it'll be interesting to see how he fares in that thinner air later in his career. They also signed Victor Olofsson, right wing, coming over from the Vegas Golden Knights. He was signed on August 20th. And they also acquire Gavin Brindley, a middle 6 forward, speed, agility, tenacious, should fit in right in if he can crack the lineup this year. Had 17 points in 52 games with Cleveland of the AHL. And he came over in a trade along with 2 picks in exchange for Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood, who were sent to the Columbus Blue Jackets. In terms of the RFA, UFA re-signings, we'll start with the UFAs first, because a bunch of pending UFAs stay in Colorado. Brock Nelson, 3 years, $7.5 million on average. Parker Kelly, very serviceable bottom 6 forward. Josh Manson, defenseman, 2 years, at just under $4 million a year. And Yoel Kiviranta re-signs for 1 year at $1.25 million. The drops, as we mentioned, Coyle and Wood off to Columbus. Jonathan Drouin signs as a UFA with the New York Islanders. And Ryan Lindgren, defenseman that they acquired for the playoff run last year, he signs with the Seattle Kraken. And just one other note, Jimmy Vesey, who seems like he has been all around the league during the course of his career, he signed on August 4th to play over in the Swiss League. So now, Neil, when you look at this entire structure of players in, players out, players that exist, As I just said before we got into this, the 4 lines, they can roll them. And as good as perhaps any 4 lines that you'll see in the NHL. And you're not supposed to crack the lineup this year for them on the 4th line. One of our favorite names.
Ivan.
He's going to get his chance for a full-time spot. But now if you look at the defensive pairings, Toews, Cale Makar, terrific first pair. Sam Girard and Josh Manson on the second pairing. And Sam Malinsky and Brent Burns as the third pair. And of course, you've got the Woods in goal, that being Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgewood. So again, this is a team that personnel-wise, you look up and down this lineup, and to me, it's been disappointing that they have not been able to escape the second round since winning the Stanley Cup 3 years ago.
The big news for them, I think, this season is that Gabriel Landeskog, their captain, is going to start the season with them and play the whole season. He joined the club last year just for the playoffs, was very good, I thought. But if he plays on a line with Brock Nelson, who's a big ad for them, we all know how good Nichushkin is. They got 2 lines that can score. And then we've seen Jack Drury and Ross Colton. Remember Ross Colton scoring goals last year? He was ahead of a lot of people. They got a lot of offense here. And then, of course, you talk about Makar, who's incredible. You've also got Devin Toews, Josh Manson, and Brent Burns played a lot on the power play for Carolina. So
yeah,
you got a great offensive team in the Colorado Avalanche. And again, we've already talked about Dallas and Winnipeg, but we got 3 teams already that are better than a lot of the teams that we've already reviewed, and they're all in one division.
And don't forget, playing on MacKinnon's flanks, Turi Lehkonen and Marty Necas, who came over along with Jack Drury in that original deal for Mikko Rantanen with Carolina.
Yeah, and we know that Marty Necas is good, and Lehkonen is also. So you've got some real good offense there, and it's going to be a tough division for those 3 teams. They're going to be battling great teams all season long in the 3 of them.
But the reality for each of these clubs that we've talked about so far, great regular seasons, but the proof is going to come next April when the playoffs roll around, because all 3 of them have underachieved.
And the thing about the NHL and the way it's set up, and we've got to be realistic about this, is that one of these 3 is going to go out in the first round next year. That's just the way the setup is. And if you get knocked out in the first round, all of a sudden you've underachieved. One of the 2 had to get knocked. One of the 2 had to underachieve. It's really a difficult league with the playoff setup the way it is, that you stay within your division. It's very difficult if you're in a really good division. If you're not, it's a bonus. But this is a very good division.
And you can even see the difference very vividly between the Central and the Metropolitan.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we're going to review the Pacific. Wait till we get to that. And that's a Western Conference team where they play each other more than you obviously play in the East. But this is going to be a heck of a division. This is going to be a hard division to get into the playoffs because of those 3 top teams.